Imagine we could travel through time. Where, or better yet, when would you travel to? Do you think there would be extreme consequences? Today, I would like to talk about time travel and the risks or dangers that may be involved. I think we would all agree that the idea of traveling to another time can seem appealing. The thought of seeing a loved one, being able to see a musician in their prime, or even witnessing a snippet of an era. Time travel is a fun, exciting topic to discuss, and I hope that I can spark any sort of scientific interest in another by talking about the possibility of time travel, speculating what we would find, and asking what would it cost. Let's first ask if time travel to the past is possible. The grandfather paradox is often a prime example brought up to dispel the idea. The idea is that if you go back in time and stop your grandfather from progressing the family tree somehow, that you will cease to exist and you won't be able to go back to stop him, and it creates this time loop. According to Stephen Hawking, there would need to be matter to make a new you in the past, and matter to maintain the present version as well. This unfortunately would not only violate the laws of conservation of mass, but would also create a closed time loop. Things not looking good so far. Another example against it to mention is the Time Travelers Party, hosted by Stephen Hawking at the University of Cambridge on June 29th of 2009. Invitations to which were only released after the party. It included the exact time, date, and position in space at the time. Sadly, the only attendees were the host. One last possibility could be wormholes. Wormholes are theorized to be tunnels through space and time. They are said to exist in a place called the quantum foam, and are believed to be smaller than atoms and incredibly unstable, with a lifespan of just fractions of a second. It's believed that if one were to be enlarged, it would destroy itself with radiation, much like how a sound system would destroy itself with an audio feedback loop. Once again, making any prospects of time travel to the past seem rather bleak. So let us look to the future. Albert Einstein believed that time travel to the future was possible. He believed that time flowed like a river at different speeds around different objects, that the bigger the object, the slower time would flow around it. This was observed by GPS satellites whose clocks were running ahead of where they'd originally been set back on Earth. The slight drift in time would throw off GPS locations by 6 miles each day. This effect is known as Einstein's theory of general relativity. The heavier the gravitational pull, the slower time flows. If we were to apply this to something like the supermassive black hole found at the center of our own Milky Way galaxy, by orbiting it with a ship, we could travel into the future. Passengers aboard would experience time at half the speed on Earth. Experiencing 1 year would take 2 years back on Earth. Not a huge leap, but things are moving. It is possible to make larger jumps in time. To do so would require a great amount of speed. The principle would be very similar to Einstein's theory of general relativity, in the sense that it is still time being slowed down by immense gravitational pull from a large mass, but this would be mass that's imposed by speed. As an object approaches the speed of light, its mass increases, as does the energy required to propel the object. This was illustrated in the famous equation E equals mc squared, and is referred to as Einstein's theory of special relativity. It firmly establishes a cosmic speed limit for the universe. The effect we're seeing here from both general and special relativity is referred to as time dilation. Time is relative to the observer and is experienced slower the faster the observer's speed, or the larger the mass. With mass, the black hole gives 1 week of travel, while Earth experienced 2 weeks. According to Stephen Hawking, we would achieve this same rate by traveling at 90% of the speed of light. At traveling at 99% of the speed of light, one day would be 1 year on Earth. At 99.9% the speed of light, 1 week would be 100 years, truly making leaps into the future. So if we believe time travel to the future is possible, let's speculate on what we think we would find. Technology is said to be advancing at an accelerated rate, each new advancement being used to make the next advancement. More and more we see automation in industry and in the workforce. I believe AI robots designed to take on the challenges of everyday life for humanity are an eventuality. I hope that advancement as such would allow for a society that is directed more towards leisure time. That we would hopefully be free to explore our passions and our studies, and overall be a happier and more educated society, eager to speak to time travelers from the past. While I'm hopeful for the future, we must ask, what would it cost us now to build something capable of such high speeds, or even to get a crew to a supermassive black hole? Would take an immense amount of resources. There would need to be a global effort to research, develop, build such a project, assembled piece by piece in space, likely spanning decades to build. It would be the greatest project humanity has ever taken on. Built by a society that would never see it again. Their commitment of time, manpower, and natural resources all sent off into the great void. Already a heavy cost. As for the crew aboard, it would be the ultimate gamble. A one-way trip to the unknown future at the cost of what's left of their original timeline in the present. This is no easy price. The outcome has to be worth it. With an understanding of the cost, let us conclude. It is important to remember these 3 points. Time travel to the past, for now, is impossible. We can travel to the future, but it's going to require a lot of speed or a lot of gravity. And we must be certain there is no do-over. It can be fun to reminisce in the past or sit and daydream of the future, but don't forget, it was Albert Einstein who said, people like us who believe in physics know the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Thank you.